Hello everyone, welcome back to Mentors Academy. So this is the fifth day of our new initiative Daily Current Affairs series designed specially for UPSC, CSC, State PCS exams, CAPF, EPF and all other competitive exams. So without any further delay, let's dive into the key headlines of today's news. So first one we have India's birth rate falls with the first dip in TFR in 2 years. NIRF 2025 ranking, IIT Madras retains the top spot and IISc is the best university again. India and Singapore expand ties from shipping to semiconductors. Center approves a new class of environment auditors. Antibiotic misuse in India and its link to mental health. And lastly, we'll see an important place in news, that is the Malacca Strait. Right? So let's go article by article. The first one we have important data here. So India's birth rate down, first dip in TFR, total fertility rate in 2 years. Right? So India's total fertility has declined to 1.9 in 2023 after staying at 2.0 during 2021-2022. A very important data here. So this is the first drop in 2 years and comes along with a fall in infant mortality rate. So there is also a fall in infant mortality rate. So let's see some background here. So this is the data comparing all the countries in the world. So coming to the background, so TFR, total fertility, it is the average number of children per woman with 2.1 considered the replacement level fertility rate. So India already achieved a replacement fertility in 2021 itself. So on IMR, in infant mortality rate, which means infant deaths per 1,000 live births, India has improved from 28 in 2020 to 26 in 2022 and now 24 in 2023. So key takeaways from this article is this marks real progress in our demographic transition. So the state Himachal Pradesh and the capital Delhi, Himachal Pradesh and Delhi showed the best improvements here, and declining IMR reflects stronger maternal and child health services. Right? So this data is extremely important. The numbers like 1.9 TFR and 24 IMR. So can directly be asked in your competitive exams, while the theme connects to demographic dividend and population policies, studies, SDGs and health policy planning in mains. Right? So moving on to the next article, we have so the NIRF ranking is out, a 2025 ranking. IIT Madras tops and IISc the best university. So so IIT Madras once again topped overall for the 7th consecutive year, while IISc Bangalore is India's best university for the 10th year in a row. So coming to the background, the NIRF ranking, which stands for National Institutional Ranking Framework, right? National Institutional Ranking Framework has been ranking Indian higher education institutions every year since 2016. So key details include IIT Delhi and IIT Bombay followed IIT Madras in the ranking. So IISc continues to dominate the research and innovation indicators, and the rankings are based on teaching, outreach, perception and research. So for exams, this highlights issues of quality education, higher educational reforms and research and development innovations. Right? So for competitive exams, you'll have to remember this year 2016. Right. So the next article, you have an IR article, international relations, where India and Singapore ties from shipping to semiconductors. So both nations have signed agreements to expand cooperation from green shipping corridors to semiconductor manufacturing. So coming to some background here, we'll see that India, Singapore is already India's largest FDI. It's a top FDI source of India, and ties extend across trade, fintech, financial technology, defense, and digital innovation. Right? So the key points here include the focus is on sustainable port logistics, that is green shipping and port logistics, and the semiconductor partnership complements India's chip making mission. So importantly, this boosts connectivity in Indo-Pacific trade routes. So from the UPSC point of view, this falls under Act East policy, tech diplomacy, and strategic trade links. So here is an engagement question for you. So Singapore is India's top source of FDI, right? So can you tell us in the comments which sector gets the highest FDI inflows in India? So let's see how many of you can get this right. So please drop your answers in the comment section below. Okay, so moving on to the next article. Center approves a new class of environment auditors. Note this word, environment auditors. Right? So the government has approved the creation of a new independent cadre of environment auditors. So here the environment, what are environment auditors? What is an environment audit exactly? So these are systemic reviews of industry compliance with pollution laws. Earlier, many audits were outsourced to consultants, raising concerns of conflict of interest. So this new cadre will directly monitor industry's compliance with air, water, and waste standards. It will ensure independent oversight, plug loopholes, and support India's net zero 2070 commitments. So for example, this is important for environmental governance, regulatory reforms, and climate commitments and policy for both prelims and mains. So next up we have a Science and Tech article. It's antibiotic culture in India imperils mental health. Studies now show that overuse of antibiotics in India is linked to rising neuropsychiatric diseases impacting the mental health. Right? So this is the connection between the gut, brain, and the microbiomes involved. So coming to the background, we know that antibiotic resistance happens when microbes adapt to drugs, reducing their effectiveness. So overuse also disturbs the gut microbiome, right? So that's the ecosystem of microorganisms inside our body. So which in turn affects our mental health. So key findings include that antibiotic misuse linked to depression and anxiety risks. So remember, India is among the world's largest antibiotic consumers. So experts are calling for stronger regulation and awareness campaigns. This is an important point here. So for UPSC, this connects to public health, antimicrobial resistance, and mental well-being. So last up we have an important place in news, that is Malacca Strait. So it's a very important strategic choke point of the world. So why is it in news? So Singapore has backed India's proposal for joint petrol initiative. Right? So that is why this Malacca Strait is in news. So we'll see some background of Malacca Strait. So the strait lies between Malaysia and Indonesia. So we have Malaysia here and Indonesia here. So this is the Malacca Strait, a very important strategic choke point. So this links Indian Ocean. This Malacca Strait links Indian Ocean to the South China Sea and the Pacific Ocean, right? So here we have Indian Ocean, South China Sea, and the Pacific Ocean. So it carries nearly 40% of world trade and 25% of global oil shipments. It's also highly vulnerable to piracy, terrorism, and power rivalries. Right. So key points of this strait includes that annually around 60,000 ships cross this strait. So it's vital for China's energy imports, and India is already part of Malacca Strait patrols with ASEAN partners, right? So ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So for UPSC, this is a hotspot for energy security, maritime diplomacy, and Indo-Pacific geopolitics. So in prelims, they can directly ask about its location or importance as a very important vital choke point. So yeah, we are done with today's important article. So let's test your knowledge now with two prelims MCQs. So which of the following best describes the total fertility rate? A. Average number of live births per thousand population in a year. Average number of children a woman could have during her lifetime. Ratio of child deaths to live births before age 1. Percentage of working age population in total population. The second question is the National Institutional Ranking Framework NIRF was launched in which year? 2006, 2010, 2016 and 2021. Please make sure to drop your answers in the comment section below. We'll be checking your answers. And coming to two mains questions for today, you can practice these questions. The first one is of society. Declining fertility and mortality rates are reshaping India's demographic future. Analyze the policy challenges and opportunities arising from this shift. It's a 10 marker 150 words question. And the next question we have of environment. Independent environmental audits can strengthen India's compliance with its climate goals. Critically examine the effectiveness and challenges of such a framework. It's a 15 marker 250 words question. So practice these questions, and yeah, that's it for today's current affairs session. Remember, these updates are relevant not just for UPSC but also all other competitive exams. So yeah, so thank you so much for turning into Mentors Academy today. Stay consistent with your preparation. See you tomorrow with another set of important updates. Thank you and have a good day.